can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Reinbacher
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire back in South Carolina, and I am Jimmy Murphy back home as well. Pierre, what a great day we had yesterday in Boston at the State House and then at the Dubliner with our great friends from Cara Group Travel and the Belfast Giants.
Phenomenal day. It was great. It was great for hockey. Kudos to the government in Massachusetts, especially to Governor Healy. I thought she had a really good message. I really appreciated the passion for hockey in the room. The people that made their way from Duluth, Minnesota, Grand Forks, North Dakota, Fairfield, Connecticut. You know, I was really impressed with Hamden, Connecticut, Colgate. Mike Harding, the coach from Colgate, drove all the way from Hamilton, New York,
Wow,
to Boston. Like, seriously, there were a lot of people.
Well,
I've done that drive a lot. And then, you know, I thought the Dartmouth people that were there, they came down. It was really a tribute to hockey, the passion that people have for the Four Nations face-offs, I'm going to call it the Friendship Four. Yep. It was awesome. And I think the biggest thing that I got out of yesterday was how much people believe that it's actually working.
Yes, they do.
It is working.
It's a destination event now for the college hockey world. Of course, there's going to be women's now as well this year. And Pierre and I will be out there for both the men's and the women's in late November and late December into the new year. Looking forward to that. And Pierre, it was a pleasure to meet Eddie Johnston's son, EJ. When we were standing there before everything got going. Really nice guy there. I had met his father way back through Russ Conway, but didn't know him too well. You probably knew him better than me, but it was cool. Nice guy.
Well, his father's going to the Pittsburgh Penguin Hall of Fame.
That's right.
What a class. Kevin Stevens, Ronnie Francis, Scotty Bowman, and Eddie, EJ.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's an unbelievable class.
Yeah. Yep. So, and as you were telling me, his dad was quite a character. So,
oh yeah, well, he still is. He still is a character.
If you're watching, Eddie, we're thinking of you. So yeah, great stuff there. Well, listen, new day here. We're going to get into some talk a bit about this new CBA and the rising cap, and also some specific players in the NHL that are clients of our good friend Jerry Buckley, NHL player agent, longtime agent out of Massachusetts, and now living down in my neck of the woods down in Providence. Another St. Sebastian's grad, Pierre.
Yep. Too many of those around Jimmy. No, I'm just kidding.
We're getting all the arrows we can on here. But Buck will be joining us shortly here, and we'll talk to him, get his take on, also to another thing I want to bring up here is the NCAA CHL agreement and how that's changed the approach of agents. And then also, family advisors when they're advising at the earlier stages with the players. So I want to see how that's changed under this new agreement. So we'll get to that in a bit. But Pierre, I know we got a lot of Montreal listeners. They had another preseason game last night. I woke up today and the talk of the town, from what I gathered listening to our friends at TSN 690, or with the Jack Eye brothers, yeah. And I thought it was interesting that Delorier referenced. He said, "I had fought his brother in 2022, so I needed to get both brothers."
Well, he did, and Nick Delorier is one of the heavyweight guys in the league.
Yeah.
So Florian's a tough kid, and he's getting bigger all the time. He's not ready for that yet, but he did his chores though. He did his chores. I have a lot of respect for that. Everybody at home thinks that's so easy and it's so cool. I've done that before. It requires some intestinal fortitude.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I have so much respect for that. And so Florian's, I thought he'd play his way into a situation on the team. And it's not going to be because he can fight.
Yeah.
He can play. Like, he scored a nice goal. His brother scored too, not as nice empty netter. But all I can say is that takes a lot of courage, and I'm really impressed by that. I'm really, really happy for the kids, for the family. The response from the mom in the stands was awesome, just awesome.
Yeah, I really like to that she was. I don't know if you saw it, Pierre, because you're not on social, but She tweeted a couple hours before the game. She must have realized, they're already in pregame mode, so they likely won't see it. She hopes. She says, "Shh, I'm on my way." So she's hoping they would know and it would be a surprise.
That's good.
And Pierre, speaking of Montreal, there's a restaurant I'm going to have to check out now up in Montreal, and we're really psyched to have them on as one of our new sponsors here on the Eye Test, and that's Vago Italian restaurant right there. Vago combines old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. Open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. It's located at 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Pierre, before you say I want to urge, I've eaten there once, many moons ago. When speaking of TSN 690, when they were $9.90 and they were over in Westmount there, I went there with our good friend Mitch Melnick and some other guys there. And I still think of that meal. It was one of the best meals I've had when I visited Montreal, but I know you're a lot more familiar with it than me.
I've been eating there since it opened. When I was a little boy, I grew up in that town. I used to buy our shoes right next to Vago's at a place called Tony's Shoe Shop. It was a legendary place. It's no longer there. I think now it's more like an art gallery or close to that, something like that. But I've been going to Vago for 23 years. My mom still goes there probably twice a week for lunch with her friends sometimes and dinner most of the time on Saturdays. It's been amazing. In our family, it's been there for – when my father passed away, we had everybody there for a dinner the night before his funeral. When our children were born, we had people there, before the christenings happened. When Scotty Bowman, when they named the rink after Scotty Bowman in Verdun, we had Scotty and his family over there. Vago's has been amazing for us as a family, and I think about it a lot. So, and they're mostly great thoughts.
Yeah.
So and I've never had a bad meal there. And I can tell you, everything is good.
Well,
there's certain things that I ask for that they bring that maybe aren't on the menu, but I appreciate everything they cook there. So I love going there. I can't wait to go there again. I'm going to take you there, Jimmy. Don't worry.
I'm looking forward to it. And, I think it's cool too, Pierre, in this day where, I think of what I see, and it's in Montreal too, but I see it in downtown Boston around the Garden, where all these, these family-owned restaurants or bars, are disappearing and everything's going the corporate way. And it's great to see a staple like that withstand the test of time. And the reason they do it is I can attest by what you just said is because of their service, their hospitality, and their amazing food.
And Tommaso, he just smiles the whole time. He's a funny cat. He's good. He spends a lot of time in Italy, but he's back and he's fourth.
Is he right off the boat?
Well, his parents are. I think he's a Montreal guy.
He's from Montreal. Okay, cool. Great stuff. Good stuff.
He's a good man, and he runs a high-quality place. And, I've never had a bad meal there. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but I can tell you one thing. If you go there, you will not be disappointed.
Good stuff. Well, I highly suggest. I know a lot of scouts watch us and agents, as we have one coming on soon. When you're in Montreal scouting, definitely go over to Vago and tell them.
And one other thing, Lucas Mercury, who's a professional hockey player, his relatives are involved with that restaurant, just so we know.
He's a UMass kid, right?
Yes, he is.
That's right. Okay, I remember him. All right. Well, listen, Pierre, we were talking about the Canadians there, but some other stuff just around the NHL right now. I was seeing that some stuff, just some chatter, but I don't know how legit it is. But I want to ask you, is there a team you think should really be targeting Rasmus Anderson on the Calgary Flames?
New York Rangers.
Ooh, okay. I thought you were going to go somewhere else. I thought you were going to stick north of the border.
Nope.
I'm thinking the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nope.
Okay.
I like Toronto's D. I think Toronto's D is good. And Henry Thrun, who I told you was going to have a good camp, has had a very good camp there. And Marshall Rafai, another Harvard guy, two Harvard guys, both at Toronto's situation. Marshall Rafai and Henry Thrun have both had good camps. No, they don't. New York Rangers do.
Yep, that would be one. Dallas, maybe on the right side.
Could. Yeah. If I'm Calgary and I'm thinking about I got a chance to make the playoffs because they do.
Right.
I'm not trading that guy in the West.
See, I know. Oh yeah, for sure. That's another.
I think he can get stuff out of the East. I do. It's good. I remember, Jimmy, I'm going to keep telling you this all year. This is the year where it's not about the players and the coach.
Yep.
It's about the GM and the pro scouts. This is the one time I've never really felt this way, but I'm telling you, whomever, I don't know which one it'll be, whomever makes the best deals this season to make their team better, they will have the best chance to win the Stanley Cup. Doesn't mean they will, but they'll have the best. I can't always say that happens every year, but this year that's going to be the case.
And on that note, Pierre, I think you'd agree with me that when all is said and done, maybe after this season, we might be zeroing in on Toronto when that's the case, because I think they've made some very strategic and purposeful signings and acquisitions that have flown under the radar. We've mentioned them here on this show. You have specifically, but I think when all is said and done, you're like, ooh, that was a really good pickup. And it never got talked about when it was done. And, I think the one you mentioned it last week is Maselli. I think that's going to be a great pickup for them.
Michelli's a really good player, and he's really creative, and he makes the players around him better. That's why he had 2 assists last night. Dakota Joshua is a really good player for the role he's going to be asked to play. And the reason why he's going to be comfortable there is because he played for Craig Berube in St. Louis. Doesn't get nearly enough acclaim for that. Berube knows exactly what he can do, positive and negative. And Dakota Joshua will be a positive player. I think they got Henry Thrun because they knew they needed puck-moving depth. He gives them that. He's a better offensive player than what his numbers are. He needs to be more stout defensively, but his first pass ability is very good. Very good.
So that's going to be an interesting team to watch there for sure, with signings like that. I was talking this morning to one of my friends. We were just discussing Matt Grzelcyk here, and that's a guy. Like, I know he's on a professional tryout right now with the Chicago Blackhawks, but I'm just stunned he didn't get a 1-year deal somewhere. I really am.
I am shocked. I'm really shocked. I know that people have pointed out, well, he gets hurt a lot, and in the playoffs, you can't defend. And to get to the playoffs, you got to still play 82 games.
Yep.
He's an NHL player. He can help you win, especially in the regular season. He's a high character, high energy, really good teammate type of a person. I'm really surprised that he hasn't been given a contract anywhere. Really
surprised. The team he started his career with and spent most of it with, the Boston Bruins, could use him right now. Pierre, I watched
Zadorov is the guy.
Whoa. Oof. Now, look, I give him credit. It shows resilience when he had about 3 turnovers at the time when he scored the overtime winner. So I give him credit for battling through a very rough game, but it doesn't change the fact that is now, I believe, 6 turnovers in his first 2 preseason games. It's preseason. I'm not going to.
Yeah, but all those get blown away because he scored the game-winning goal in overtime.
Right. I know.
So, and then he has the classic response, which I've never seen before. Actually, Nikita, that was pretty cool. Like, if anybody that's a family or friend is, I thought that I've been in that corner in New York many times.
I was wondering. So at that time, if you look back on the shift, at that time he was at, I think, 1 minute and 23 seconds. He had been out there. I'm wondering. Well, obviously he's gassed, right? But I'm wondering if he had been holding in and going to the bathroom or something. He's like, I'm getting out of here. Because he came back out. He came back out.
Yeah, but he had the great response.
Yeah, I saw that.
I want to get home to my family. I thought it was great.
Before I want to get back to the Bruins defense in a sec, Pierre, but just another funny, great clip after the game. And I want to ask you if this will get him any points to make the team. Fraser Minton helping the equipment managers push the bags down the you've been in MSG and the ramp there and everything, and helping them load it into the truck. What does that show? Like, I mean, are you impressed when you see a player doing that?
Yeah, I am very much so.
Cool.
I got a good story for you. 2003 World Junior in Halifax. Ryan Suter would have been 17 years old, 16 turning 17 or 17 turning 18, I forget. And he was on the World Junior team for USA, and all of his teammates had left. He stayed behind and carried the skate sharpening machine for the trainers. And in Halifax at that time,
How old was he at that time?
16 or 17.
Wow.
He was on the team. He's a player on the team.
That's maturity.
But he carried the skate sharpening machine from the dressing room. I watched him do it by himself to the team truck. And in Halifax back then, that was a long walk. That was a long walk. And so I saw that, and I remember saying, he comes from a hockey family, and he comes from a really stout, character position. So it was good. But I like that. I think that's good when guys do that. I tell all the young players, all of them, I tell them all the same thing. You can help the trainer. You got a friend for life. Help them because those guys will do you so much down the road if you help them. They'll do you solids when you really need them.
Yeah. Get them in your corner for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sure one guy that knew that, and he probably tells his clients that as well, is our good friend, NHL agent Jerry Buckley, joined us here from Buckley Sports on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. Hey, Buck, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Great.
We're good.
Great.
I wish you had me on for the Dubliner live. Like, that would have been fun. That would have been a good time.
It would have been a good time. We would have liked to have had you there, Jerry. It would have been good.
I don't know if we would have got Pierre to the airport, though. But we had a 7:00 flight, so we raced through that. Buck, how's everything going? How was the off season?
Great. It went by fast. And obviously, agent-wise, it's busy in the summer, getting everyone all placed and all squared away. So when you guys were all playing golf and on boats and going to Europe with the players, like we're in the office grinding.
I hear you.
Yep.
That's good. Touche.
Yeah.
That's good. What's going on in the hockey world? What do you got for us? Anything new?
I think there's a lot new. I mean, it's the junior hockey stuff, college hockey. I mean, it's having a ripple effect, from the NHL, where you have drafted players who are on the college route now at training camp playing exhibition games, to the effect it has on kids, whether it's playing prep school hockey or deciding to play like club teams and junior hockey early and things like that. So it's been a real busy 12 months since they've kind of made those changes.
Jimmy, let me just touch. I want to ask Jerry one thing. Jerry, I saw earlier this summer where a lot of boys were thinking of going to the Quebec Major Junior League, and they did go to camps. And I remember calling some Massachusetts high school coaches and saying, you got to call the family. That kid's not ready. Like, I know the player, and they're going up there, and it's not a good situation if you don't go there and prove yourself. Yeah. And I'm wondering, because I know how much you represent and care about young players. Do you ever tell parents, like, you know what? Your son's not ready. He shouldn't go there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of our role, right? If you're doing it right, you have to be honest with people. Sometimes people don't want to hear it, but I think I'm at the stage of my career now where it's like, I've learned you've got to tell people the truth, because if they don't want to hear it, they're not going to deal with it. They're probably not going to make it anyways. So just going to be honest. And I think, like, as a player, I always wanted someone to be honest with me. Like, if it's you tell me I'm doing everything great, but I didn't play the last 10 minutes of the game, something was off, right? So, I try to be honest with people. But the Quebec League thing is definitely, it's a different option. I mean, and I don't know if you brought it up because, my son, Danny, graduated from St. George's, and he made the team. He's up in Moncton. So he went through that whole tryout. Now, he was a little bit older, so he had graduated. He just turned 19, so he's on that older age. So it was kind of like in years past, he would have been looking at the USHL and the BCHL, and this opportunity came up, and he went up and visited last year during the year and was kind of blown away. He was blown away, as was I, just with all the resources there up in Moncton. They do an job.
Moncton's an amazing franchise. They've done a tremendous job. Back in the day, Jimmy, just so you know, I used to go in there recruiting a lot, and they have a thing outside of Moncton called Magnetic Hill, and I'm sure Jerry's been there. And it's an optical illusion. So you park your car and it goes up the hill, but it's not. It's really going down.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen it online, but I haven't.
Oh, yeah, no, it's true. I used to go there a lot, and I used to laugh my butt off. Even one time a year, I'd go there and say, "This is amazing."
Yeah, I'll be up there in a few weeks, so I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Buck, we've gotten plenty of reaction from junior coaches, college coaches on the new CHL NCAA agreement, but I'm wondering what's changed for an agent's approach in your eyes, or even a family advisor's approach, furthermore there, when it comes to this new agreement?
Well, I think you just have way more options, for players. And so each player is different. one 17-year-old can be completely different than another 17-year-old in terms of their development. Doesn't mean, one's going to get to the NHL and the other one's not because they're better at 17. So I think the more options available to players, the more likely you're going to find the right fit for you. So I think more options better. I think, the college hockey is a really good development model for kids. And I think the junior hockey, the CHL opening up, the CHL has done a really good job investing in facilities and infrastructure and having the resources for the guys to get better. Now, I think there are USHL teams that do that as well. But I think up in Canada, I just think you've got more, I think honestly, they've got more like wealthy individuals who look at investing in their community and investing in hockey through CHL teams, and they do a really good job. I think that's one of the things I think here in the U.S. we need to kind of do a better job of is engaging with the investors. People who have some, resources that they can allocate and that love hockey and kind of make a connection where they can kind of do both. They can kind of invest, but also help the hockey world, hockey development, things like that. Because I think we're going to need more and more of those options here in the U.S. And I think it's an important time that people get going on that.
Jerry, the one thing that I think too, I love what you said about the Canadian infrastructure, because I agree with you. I think it's going to be harder for a lot of these young guys that are coming down to play Division I college hockey to get the points. Everybody thinks they're all coming down and they're going to massacre college hockey. And you played and you understand it. I'm not sure that's going to happen for a lot of these guys.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. College hockey is a jump, but I think it's going to be just like anything, Pierre. Like some of the guys are going to come down and surprise you and be really, really good. Yeah. Some of the guys who are elite offensive guys are going to come down and have a harder time scoring. And it's no different. The expectation that kids come into college hockey and produce right off the bat. It's not real, right? I mean, we see it every year. Kids coming from the national program, first-round draft picks who come in and people think, they're going to hit the ground running and put up a point a game, and they don't. And usually the first few months, they struggle. And then, a lot of them in the second half get better, and then their sophomore year, they kind of take off.
Yeah.
That's more the norm than, Macklin Celebrini coming in and just tearing it up from day one, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch for sure. And there's different. I mean, Pierre, you've seen it. Murph, I'm sure you've seen it. Like it's just the leagues are a little different. USHL is different than the Quebec League. Quebec League is different than the BCHL. Like different than the OHL. And so there's going to be adjustment for everyone whenever they move.
Well said. Really well said. I agree.
One of your clients has been obviously adjusting great to the NHL and international play is Tage Thompson. Buck, and I feel like he's really primed for a big year there. Obviously, Buffalo's looking to make the playoffs for the first time since 2011, but it seems like he's, I won't say rapidly, but he's gradually becoming one of the faces of that franchise. Yeah,
I mean, for sure. I mean, I think what we talked about early on, like Tage is such a big guy that he just, grew into his body late, right? Like at 18, he was probably 35 pounds less than he is right now, and he's, I don't know if you saw it, like they did a preseason interview with him and he had like a cutoff shirt on and he is huge. I mean, he's a massive dude right now and he's focused and ready to roll. Like I'm expecting a huge year out of Tage, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, I think, from not being named to that Four Nations team. He was a late ad when they had some injuries. But, I think he took that and used his motivation to really, get going. And then obviously had a really good year last year with the Sabres. Personally, the team obviously didn't achieve what they wanted and then went to the World Championships and won a gold, which was a great experience for him. And I think he's driven to just will that team into the playoffs in Buffalo.
I have a question for an agent that I respect, meaning you, Jerry.
Yeah.
So the cap's gone up and everybody talks about it, including the media, who seems to beat it up every day.
Yeah.
There's 16 teams that are $4 million or more under the cap right now. 16, half the league.
Yeah.
In your negotiations, are you noticing that a lot of teams are having internal caps rather than playing off the salary cap?
For sure. I mean, that's not something we heard about the last few years, but there is. Now, some of them are willing to say it. Some of them aren't, they don't want to go public to their fan base that we're not spending the cap and have their fans, look at their ownership and say, hey, why aren't we trying enough? Our tickets prices are really expensive and you're not spending. So, but I think for sure, more than ever, there are internal caps on their spending.
Jimmy and I, we're friends with Jerry, both of us, and I've known him since he's been a young boy. So a long time, over 30 years, Jerry, right?
Yeah.
Over 30. And I'm just going to tell you, when he tells me that, I believe it's true because I know it's true, but I want to hear from somebody else that has to deal in it every day.
Yeah. It's true.
And even the teams that have it, they're not going to say it publicly because basically the general manager is telling the owner, like, it's almost like an excuse or passing the buck. And, Pierre, that doesn't go over well.
Well, I think, Pierre, it alludes, and we already mentioned a bit earlier, but alludes to what you've been saying is for this upcoming season. Pierre has been saying this is going to be the season where GMs and pro scouts specifically are really going to have to earn their money because let's say, right, you get a team that has an internal cap, you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to find that diamond in the rough for that guy that maybe that slipped through and to make your team competitive and compete for the cup. Are you seeing that start to happen, Jerry?
I think it's so competitive around the league right now. I mean, you see it. Like you guys are probably in that time where you're doing your preseason predictions, and like, you're worried about if I put that team up, they could shoot up or they could shoot down, right? Like, I mean, Nashville's one of those hot teams in the preseason the last couple of years. Hasn't really done that in the regular season, and I just think that the league is so competitive. And I think it's not only like finding players, but it's finding coaches, finding development things, finding different ways to do your schedule so your players are rested and can perform better. Like, I think it's a constant like search for how can we get 1% better in all these different things. And I think the teams that do it the best doesn't guarantee success, but I think it gives them a better chance of being successful.
I'm not going to ask you to comment on Buffalo because it's not fair, especially when you got a key player there. So I'm going to make the comment.
Yeah.
They've got to find a way to get their fans to trust them. They got to find a way to make their fans understand that this is a great hockey market. These are real people buying tickets. They're not corporations. When you go to Buffalo, do you feel that, Jerry? Do you feel the passion and the energy from the fans and the frustration?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think I know it talking to Tage or talking to the guys there, like everyone feels that pressure. And I think everyone's trying to win there. And they want to win because they know the fans want it. The fans have been there. And they know, like, when they have a big game, a big crowd, that building's rocking. And it's a fun place to go watch, right? And so I think those guys aspire for, like, hey, we get on a roll. We're going to get this thing going and we can get the momentum going. And they've got a core group of guys who have been there. And I think they want to win. I mean, I know they want to win. I talk to Tage on a regular basis, and he's frustrated. And, he is, like a lot of people, like, don't know Tage's personality, kind of keeps it, but he is a fierce competitor. And he will address things that need to be addressed, man up. So, like, he's there to help solve problems and work with the guys there to try to get that thing back on track because he wants to be part of the solution and, get that hockey city back going again.
I'll tell you one guy who's going to help him is Josh Norris. He'll insulate him really well. Josh, he's a tremendous kid. I had him in Ottawa. I can't say enough good things about him. Just got to keep him healthy. I agree with you 100%.
How about that goalie you had in Ottawa? Jerry knows him well.
Yeah. What's that?
The goalie for Ottawa Senators now.
Yeah.
Oh, Marilyn.
Yes.
Yeah. Levy had a great year last year and looking to back it up with another, good one this year. But he's a top young player.
He's not just a good player, though. He's a tremendous kid, as you know, Jerry. I was there. We had him. He was just a 19-year-old kid, I think, and he's a really good human. Like, he's coachable. He's a really good person.
Yeah, and he's very mature and even keel. Like,
he knows
about his business. Yeah.
They couldn't have a better guy to work with him than Justin Peters. Justin Peters, a really good goalie coach up in Ottawa. He's outstanding, really good.
Buck, final guy I want to ask you about in your client list there is Shane LaChance, and I got a chance. I was introduced to watching him the first time in person. I'd seen him on TV, but the first time in person was over at the Friendship 4 last year in Belfast when he was with BU, and he had that monster game in the final. This kid, I think, when all is said and done, that was kind of a trade that went under the radar. But when all is said and done, that could turn out to be one of the more impactful trades leading into the 2025 deadline.
Yeah,
I think, because I think this kid's got a bright future.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, if you measure up, like, he's more than the sum of his parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just a winner. You win with guys like Shane LaChance because he makes the guys around him better. Like, he's a great person, so he helps in the locker room, off the ice. On the ice, he'll do all the little things. Like, I remember watching him play with Celebrini at BU, and there were times where he'd, like, touch a puck on a tip, but he wouldn't take it. He would, like, because maybe Macklin hadn't scored right off the bat, and he was like, hey, we got to get this guy going because this guy's he's going to drive the bus here. And so, like, I mean, not that Macklin needed any help with extra points, but like, but like, that's the kind of guy Shane was. Like, he wasn't worried about him. He was like, hey, we got to make sure this guy's feeling good and he's rolling, because if he's doing that, we can beat anyone on a given night.
I'm still trying to figure out why Edmonton made that deal, but that's just another story for another day. It makes the agent happy because he gets to get American funds for his young guys in the American League.
Yeah, well, Edmonton's they've been winning there. I think part of that could have been, Shane had the ability to go free. So he had a decision to make, and so that probably factored into.
Agreed.
They liked him as a player. It wasn't like that they didn't see the value in Shane. They did. I think that was part of it.
And just for our Canadian listeners out there, Shane LaChance's grandfather, Jack Parker, is going into the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. So there's not too many college coaches that are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Jerry York and Jack Parker coming up with Jack Parker in November. I'm really excited for him.
Yeah. No, that's a huge honor, and he deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hey, Buck, we appreciate you taking the time, man. It was great talking to you. I hope all is well with the fam, and we'll get you on down the line, all right?
Sounds good. Keep up the good work.
You stay away from some of the bars like Ziggy's in Moncton, okay? You just behave yourself up there.
I've only been to church up there. I haven't been to any bars yet, so we'll see.
See you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry Buckley joining us from Buckley Sports Management here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. He's a good guy.
I had him in hockey camp when he was like 7, 8, and 9 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was a good player. Yeah. And what he was a fierce competitor.
Yeah.
Like there was no Irish in that guy, Jimmy.
No, not at all. He's always good to me. I was a freshman at St. Sibs when he was a senior.
Yeah.
And he just always kind of took me under his wing, and just a good guy.
We fast tracked him because he was so good at Europa Cup, this camp that we had in the summer, and with myself and Steve Sterling and Dick Flood, and we moved him up.
Yeah.
Because he was too good for his age group.
Yeah.
And
did you have his brother too? Did you have Brendan as well? Yep.
Yeah,
Brendan.
I had them all. I'll just tell you right now, Shane LaChance's father, Scotty LaChance, was in that. Billy Guerin was in that. Wow. Ryan Donato or Teddy Donato was in that. Chucky Hughes was in that. Tony Amonte was in that. Jeremy Roenick was in that. Sean McEachran was in. Like, I can go down the line. It's a murderer's row of guys that played in the NHL. We had all of them.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Great stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I remember going to some of those games when my buddy Chris Masters, who played with Jerry.
We had to move Jerry up because he was too good.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, thanks to Jerry for joining us here on the Eye Test. And it's all we always remember too. It's funny, his name's Jerry and he's an agent. So when Jerry McGuire came out, that was
throw me the money.
Throw me the money. There you go. All right, we're gonna get to our Q&A, and then we apologize. It was a little glitch, I guess, where people weren't able to ask questions, but I see them lining up now. So let's get to our other sponsor. We already told you we're so excited to have Vago on board here on the Eye Test, and of course our longtime sponsor Betway, where you can go all the way with Betway and bet those beauties. Join the action right now. You can go to the QR code right in front of you to sign up for a new account, or go to the details section to create your account there. And if you lose on your first bet, you're still eligible to get up to $200 in credit back. Great deal there. So go there right now. They've got the new updated props. I was on there this morning. They're having what goalies will have most wins. It's going to be interesting. I got talking with my new co-host on the Bruins Vibe podcast I'll be doing soon, Pierre. We're talking about Jeremy Swayman, how important it is for him to come out of the gate strong. So go over there right now and look at some of the over-unders they have on props, whether it's wins, goals, assists, what have you, over at Betway. And remember, terms and conditions apply. You must be 18 plus. Always bet responsibly. And it is not available in Ontario right now. All right, what do we got in the Q&A? Zahal, hey guys, are you able to explain how Graham Swad was able to play pro last season and now he's committed to Quinnipiac in the NCAA? I heard of this with U Sports, but not the NCAA.
No, it's amazing. There's like 3 or 4 that have done this. Bemidji State has done it with players too. Arizona State has done it with players. Some coaches aren't very happy about this.
Yeah, it's you're right, Pierre. Like who did we have on recently? Was it Derek Damon that was talking about? Yeah.
No, it was David Carl.
David Carl, that's right. And he said it's something they're going to look
From
into.
Denver.
Sort of a loophole.
So I talk to a lot of college coaches quite often, and they're not really happy about the ones that got players. They're thrilled, but the ones that haven't, they're not too happy about it.
Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on, see how long that lasts. Yeah. All right, next question. Juice_031017. Pierre, what are your thoughts on the way David Reinbacher played in the Canadiens preseason game last night?
Rusty, not ready for prime time. Doesn't mean you give up on the kid. It's still early. He needs time. He hasn't played a lot. He needs reps. He's a guy, that's why they have the American Hockey League for players like that. Coming off an injury, young guy, needs to get physically stronger. He will. He'll be coached up. He'll eventually be a good player, but he's not ready for prime time right now.
You know, it's interesting, Pierre. I agree with everything you just said. And I think it's an interesting point because it's obviously we're called the eye test here, and we put a lot of value in the eye test. If you go look at Reinbacher's analytics from last night, he was one of the best in the game analytically. But if you just looked at that and you didn't look at the eye test and say exactly what Pierre just said and really saw the truth, you would have thought he had a great game. So that's why it's important to use both tools there when you're evaluating.
You know, to be fair, I was traveling last night, and it was long. You know, I left my house Tuesday morning at 3:30 in the morning. I got home at 1 o'clock last night. So it's almost a 24-hour day. But I watched it today. I want to be clear. I watched it today, and I'm like, okay, there's some stuff he does really well, and there's other stuff where you can tell not ready for prime time yet.
Exactly.
So that's not a knock. That's how you evaluate players. And that's why you can't just go numbers, because if you go numbers, you're doomed to fail. Got to watch a lot. You got to watch a lot.
For sure. All right, next question. What do we got? Bert L., not sure if either of you watched the Chicago-Detroit game last night, but was the performance of the Hawks prospects concerning at all, particularly I can never pronounce that. Levshunov. D-men are crucial, but is Demidov great?
Demidov wasn't great the other day. Anybody that told you that, they're missing the boat. Those Hawk kids have played a lot of hockey, because a lot of those Hawk, just so to be fair to the young guys, a lot of those Hawks players played in their prospect tournament with St. Louis and Minnesota, and I watched them play. So I can tell you, they're probably a little mentally and physically beat down right now, because they put the boots to these guys in these rookie things. They really do. So I wouldn't overreact to that. I'm not that concerned. They're all good players. I watched them really close 10 days ago. They've got good players. And no, I did not watch that game.
And they're not in a rush either. They're in Chicago to just.
No, but I want to be fair. Like if this was a regular season game, I would have watched it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch it, so I couldn't tell you.
All right, next question. Vincent Yoel. Hello, gentlemen. How often does a trade happen because an agent reaches out to the player's team? Is it tampering if they reach out to another team that's what he means, to inquire about their player?
Yes. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say Jimmy wanted to be traded off the eye test, and he had a rep. And I'm running the eye test. Jimmy's agent better come to me and say, we need your permission to get Jimmy on the market. Will you give us that permission? And I'll say no, because I want to keep Jimmy on the eye test. I don't want to trade Jimmy.
I'm glad to hear that.
And so then if your representative went and broke my words to somebody else, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So the answer is agents should not be doing that. They should not be shopping their clients until the client becomes a UFA or is an RFA.
Yep. Agreed.
That's it. That's all. Unless they're given permission. And more times than not before, and this is a part of it where it answers Vincent's question, I think, before veteran players near the end of camp, when they find out, you know what they call it, I got a bad feeling here. I don't think I'm going to make the cut. I'm probably going to get put on waivers. The agent calls the GM, say, hey, are you putting Murphy on waivers? And they're, yeah, we're probably putting him on waivers. Do I have permission to shop him? 100%. Go shop him.
Yeah.
That's how that happens. Yep. That's how that happens.
Okay. Next question. Pete M. Pierre, any comparable with Beck and Thomas Plekanec? Interesting. Also, some background on Sam Harris.
I like the Beck and Plekanec one. I think that's really good. That's one I didn't really think about till I saw it. That's Pete. That's really good. So congratulations on that one. I like that a lot. And I think Owen will continue to evolve and become like Thomas in a lot of ways. That's really good. And then what was the other part of it?
Just background on Sam Harris.
Oh, yeah. Sam Harris, a pure scorer. Sam Harris, a guy that will do anything it takes to score. So he chips pucks. He can deflect pucks. He can fight for his ice in the slot. We had his coach, David Carl, on last week. He was raving about his character. Sam Harris is a point getter. He's more of a scorer than he is anything else. Not a dynamic defensive player, and he's an offensive guy.
Yeah, I highly urge everybody to check out that interview we did with David Carl from last Friday, where he did rave about Sam Harris. It was great. All right, next question. Entertap. Thank you, Jimmy and Pierre. Appreciate your candidness and your interaction with us all. Our pleasure. Do you see Minnesota or Utah finishing higher in the standings this year? Utah, I think definitely. I'm worried about
Minnesota had a good year last year.
Yeah. I'm worried about them though with this whole Kaprizov thing. That's all.
I'm not as worried with the Kaprizov thing. I'm not. Utah will finish higher. And I'm not trying to be mean because I really respect Andre Tourigny, the coach there. But if they don't finish higher, I have a hard time believing he'll be back there.
Yeah.
This is the best opportunity he's had with good players to really make a buzz. And there's no more excuse about, well, we had to move late and we don't have a good practice facility. They got the state of the art of everything there right now. Ryan Smith, their owner, has done an amazing job. I love what Utah's doing. I know he's your buddy, Mr. Armstrong, but I think he and his staff have done a good job.
Yeah. A lot of the kids, Pierre, are maturing at the right time and together. So they're heading in the right direction. All right.
He and John Ferguson Jr. have done good work there.
That's right. Good work. Yeah. All right. Next question. Franco, we talk a lot about how much winning the Stanley Cup means to hockey players. Pierre, what does winning the Calder Cup mean to older players who may never have the chance to play for Lord Stanley? Good question.
The Calder Cup is an amazingly difficult trophy to win, a lot like the Memorial Cup, just like the Kelly Cup in the East Coast Hockey League. You win a championship at any level, it's amazing. You know, I've won it. I've won in college, came close in minor pro, and won the Stanley Cup. Part of two teams that won. Winning's always fun. You know, we had a trainer at St. Lawrence when I coached there named Ron Waskey, legendary trainer with the New York Islanders, legendary. Ronnie went to St. Lawrence. Bill Torrey liked him a lot. Bill was a St. Lawrence alum, so he hired Ronnie to be the trainer. And Ronnie used to come in our dressing room all the time before every game. You're right, winning is fun. And that was our team motto all the time. Winning is fun. And you know what? It is. Winning. And for older players that maybe don't think they have a chance to win at the NHL level, winning a Calder Cup is huge.
Yeah.
Winning a Calder Cup is huge. It's an amazing thing. Amazing thing. I coached minor pro. We won a thing called the Atchafalaya Cup. It was a contest between Baton Rouge, Biloxi, Mississippi, and Lafayette, Louisiana. And all three of those rinks Bruce Boudreau was coaching in Mississippi. Doug Shedden was coaching in Lafayette, and I was coaching in Baton Rouge. And we won. We won the cup. And I told my players, this is the only day off I'm giving you during the season, the next day after we won. And I said, take my advice. Bring it to every single establishment you've ever been in this entire year and let the owners and the patrons touch it.
Yeah.
And every one of my players took that thing to all their favorite watering holes. And the pictures back then, this was before cell phones, the pictures were amazing. It was really special to see.
I've got a great story about the Calder Cup here that I was part of, but what I'm going to do is I'll tell you it off air, and then we'll see if we can tell it on air first. I'm not sure it's proper to tell here.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Next question. Sound the siren. Pierre, how much of a PR risk as a GM are you willing to take on Michael McLeod and or Carter Hart?
I wouldn't be worried about taking either player. They've been exonerated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was there things that were done that are not acceptable? Probably, but in a court of law, these guys are not guilty of anything. And so you move on. I mean, everybody deserves a second chance. I think I've always been a believer in that. The last perfect person I saw was on the cross at church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last perfect person I saw. So we all make mistakes. That's all I'm going to say.
And I'll just say too, I know that question probably derives because there's a movement from season ticket holders right now. So.
I understand. No, and I'm not trying to get on their bad side. I get it. Everybody's got their own take on this. I get it. I just know we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
I do know that. You know, I can speak to it personally. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, Pierre. All right. Next question. Juice _031017. Thoughts on the Canadians' top line last night with Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky?
Yeah, they're good. They're good. You know, they get offense. It's not a high. I didn't think Philly had a high quality lineup last night. They're a work, and Rick sees. You know, Rick Tocchet sees. They're a work in progress. Philly, Montreal's not as much of a work in progress. They're good. They're a good line. Montreal's got a really good top line. I'm not even going to pretend, Jimmy. We've been talking about it all summer. My biggest concern about Montreal is not in goal. It's not in defense. It's not on penalty killing. It's not on faceoffs. It's not on any part of the game. It's not about physicality. I'm not worried. Florian Jackguy, Arbor Jackguy, Josh Anderson, they got more than enough artillery for this NHL. More than enough. Than enough. Who's their second center, Jimmy?
They don't know yet.
Because until I know that, I can't tell you whether they're going to be an elite team, a good team, or a below average team. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Until I know. I can't tell you.
I'm with you
Just
now.
being totally honest with you.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens with that. Does it come from within or did they get it outside? We'll see. All right. Next question. Ethan Russell. What's up, Ethan? Do you see Rinzel being Chicago's top D-man by the new year? How much of his impact on the back end has impacted the Blackhawks rebuild and the time of the rebuild?
Sam Rinzel's really good. Kid out of the University of Minnesota. I've watched him obviously this preseason, the prospects game, and saw him a lot at Minnesota, and he's NHL ready. It'll be interesting because I want to see what happens with Vlasic there because I think he's a little bit ahead. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have the same offense, obviously, that Rinzel has. I want to see what happens with Kevin Korchinski because he may be the equal of Rinzel when it comes to offense. But again, we're going to see that. And Lev Shunov is really good, really good. I just don't know if he's got the same processing power that Rinzel has. Rinzel can really process the game. He's really good at doing that. So to answer the question, Sam Rinzel's good. Does he speed up the process? Probably.
Yeah. They're like it's Pierre and I have said before. They have a lot of good things happening on the back end for sure.
We talked about it last spring when everybody's like pile driving the group, and we're like, whoa, they got guys coming. They're way better now. The Nazar contract, we're going to see. I'm still not sure. I get what they were doing. Mm-hmm. So you can't just crush them on it.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it was the right time to do it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's going to put the numbers up where you're going to say, well, if we bridge them, you know, we're only going to do it's gonna be like PK Subban. I remember when he got bridged, and I ripped the Canadians apart. I ripped them apart when he got bridged. I said it's going to cost you tens of millions of dollars, and you're not going to be able to keep the player. Well, it cost them tens of millions of dollars, and eventually they got sick of the player, so they moved them out for Shea Weber.
Yep.
And I don't want that to happen in Nazar because I think he's going to be part of what's going to be a good Chicago retool. I think he will.
Pierre, you know how the Canadians, one of the things we've been impressed with in their rebuild has been how they've built up their prospect system so much that they can deal from a position of strength when they go to the trade table and they say, look, you need a great young right wing or you need a great defenseman coming up. Do you think Chicago is at that point yet on the blue line where it can help them address another hole in their lineup? Like in terms of prospects they have.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with my D if I was Chicago because it's going to be a strength of their group. I think in a year, you might have a better idea. It's going to be like, I'll give you an example of a player. Unless you're a USA hockey fan, you're not going to know. AJ Spellacy, okay, is one of their young forwards. Played for Windsor in the Ontario Hockey League. I watched him play in the prospects tournament. He was good. He tussled around. Tough kid. You could see he's got moxie. He'd be a great Blackhawk. I'm just telling you, he'd be a great. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but he's a guy where I'm watching, I'm going, okay, people are going to ask us about him. If I'm Chicago's pro scouts, they're going to say, people are going to ask you guys, if I'm the pro scout, about Spellacy. What are we doing? What's the plan? Because I wouldn't be in a rush, but they're never trading. I don't think they're trading Rinzel.
No.
But I bet you money that Kyle Davidson gets called saying, hey, there's a guy you got playing. He played at the Hothouse program in Plymouth. His name is Spellacy. I've had general managers do this.
You kind of act like
the names on purpose and pretend they don't even know the guy. And then they say, like we need to plug a hole with our farm team. Like if we traded you a second round pick, would you have interest in that? Because they know that Spellacy can actually play in the NHL.
Right.
Like, I won't give you the GM's name because he's not working in the league anymore. But I'm in Hartford with Paul Holmgren. We're starting to turn the corner. We're starting to get going. And we had a general manager call us up and pretend like he couldn't pronounce 5 guys in our team's names. And Paul was so angry, and I was smiling and laughing. And what's so funny? And I waited till we were off the call. I was like, he's trying to set us up. He's like trying to punk us. Like, what? and anyways, we ended up settling and getting everything done. But I remember, like, it's like, this guy must think we're dumb. He really must.
Who's this guy? It's spelled Jagr.
Oh, yeah. No, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what they were doing. One of the guys they asked about was Sanderson, Jeff Sanderson, who is coming off a 40-plus goal year. I think. Oh, yeah. Well, I know the 2 years I had Sandy had over 40 twice. And this guy's like, we kind of need help on the left side. And we could see Sanderson like maybe being, maybe our third line left winger. I'm like, see you later.
Yeah, you ain't going to flip me. All right, good stuff. All right, we got time for a few more. What do we got? Tim G, what's up, Tim? Slav played well last night. If he doesn't start on time, how long before Demidov takes his place?
How about Demidov starts on time? It was only one game, and I know everybody's in love with the kid, and so am I. Trust me when I tell you. But this is one of those where you don't overreact, but you make sure. We're going back to hard hockey. We're not doing toe drags, and we're not doing stuff between our legs, and we're not trying to do spin moves at the offensive blue line. We're going back to hardcore in your face hockey because that's what makes you special. And then that all that other stuff will help.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, it's okay. I'm not worried about Slav. Slav is at least a year ahead of Demidov.
Yeah,
at least a year ahead.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Zahal, thoughts on Florian Jackie's camp so far? Would you start him in Laval? And if so, how long do you think before he gets a call up?
So there are a couple things that people, I'm sure you all know, but just a friendly reminder. You don't need waivers on Florian Jackie. So that's number one. So he's an easy target to go down because there are a lot of guys on the Canadiens roster that do need waivers. So that's number one. Number two, I would not put him in Laval, I would keep him with the big team because I want guys to feel competition in practice.
Yeah.
And I think he creates competition in practice. And I don't, there are a lot of players that I've coached where I've taken them aside and I said, you know what I really appreciate about you? Every day that you come to work, you make everybody better because you're intense. You bring your lunch bucket every day. And I think Florian Jacki does that.
Yeah.
I don't know him at all.
Mhm.
I just know his game. I
Yeah.
went to Laval and watched them.
Right.
I watched them on tape a ton from junior. Like, that kid's tough and he competes. And now he's starting to become a man. He's getting big,
And remember what Pascal Vincent told us about him.
Well, I don't think he thinks he's getting them back based on the report he gave us.
Right. All right. Next question. Is that it? We done? Oh, this one. Bert L. asks, on another podcast, Jamie McClellan said that the current players don't have as close of a bond as previous generations. Do you think there are major differences between current generation and past? I would say there are differences at times, but I still see bonds with these guys.
No, look at Florida. They're tight. They're so
Yeah.
tight. But here's one of the
tight.
Yeah, but there's some things that have changed too. Like back in the day, let's just say you were in Philly, you would take the bus to Washington, or you would take the bus to Jersey, or you'd take the bus to New York, or even to the island. If you were in Hartford, you take the bus to Boston, or so you weren't flying all over the place on private jets. That's number one. Number two, this is really important. When you went out west, you stayed out west. Because you weren't flying on private planes. You were flying on commercial flights. So there was always the night after the game. And what'd you do the night after a game, especially if you won? It was called a green light night, especially if you didn't have to play the next day. So you'd go out and have a nice dinner and then a couple drinks with your teammates. And that's just how it was. That was life on the road.
Yep.
And then
now
everybody – and if you were flying commercial and you had to connect – so for us to go from Pittsburgh to Calgary, I'll use that as an example, just so people understand why the bonds are different.
Yep.
We would leave Pittsburgh on an American Airlines flight at about 8:30 in the morning. So if you're a player, you left home, you have kids, you got a wife, you're getting to the airport early. Fly from there, Pittsburgh, to Dallas, because that's a hub for an American Airlines.
Right.
So you go all the way south from Pittsburgh to go north to Calgary, because we save $200 per seat per player.
Wow.
To do that. And that's how it used to be. Not just for Pittsburgh, but for every team. Every team. Nobody was chartering. And then when Detroit got their own plane and LA got their own plane, and then, obviously a lot of stuff happened. Free agency, money started to get better. That's when it all started to change.
Yep. And I would add in too, I think the video game generation, not that guys didn't play like video games back in the day, but a lot of these guys now up here, they just go back to their hotel room and they hop on PlayStation or whatever it is now, and they play videos. That's their community.
It's a big thing. The other thing too is we always had it. You'd have the big money game and you'd have the middle money game, and the big money game was poker, and the little money game might have been backgammon, or other things.
Yeah,
guys. Now, every town you go to, what do they have? They got casinos. They got card rooms. They got card rooms. Some guys like to play, some guys don't. But back in the day when everybody was on a plane together, and I mean a commercial flight, they'd play cards.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next question. What do we got? Franco, how tall or short is the leash on Patrick Laine this year? If he doesn't perform, who do you put on second line left wing?
Zachary Bolduc, I would. That's number one. Number two, he's a very motivated person, Patrick Laine, because he needs a contract after this year.
Yeah.
And usually guys in contract years do whatever the coaches tell him because they're a captive audience. And he likes Montreal. You can tell he likes Montreal a lot. So he's going to be a motivated player. But he would have a shorter leash, Jimmy. He would have a shorter leash, because I think the expectation of the Canadians is we're a good team and we're going to continue to be a high-end team, and you need him to be a high-end player if you're going to be that.
All right, next question. What do we got? Joel Kravitz, Pierre, I am wrong. And am I wrong in guessing that the Canadians are trying to buy some time before bringing up some AHL futures because of possibly wanting to wait for Anderson and Gallagher contracts to expire?
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think that's wrong, Joel. I think there's a lot of sense to what you're saying. But the one thing that I think is really important, they're about winning right now. And if they feel that there's a guy, and I'm not saying it's happening off the start of camp because I don't think it will, but if there's a drop in different players' games and they feel they have an adequate replacement down in the American Hockey League, I think they'll make that move now. Whereas a year ago, I don't think they were going to do that. We talked about the importance of winning in Laval, and they won in Laval. And then look at the step a lot of these guys have taken. Like you got Zachary Bolduc because Logan Mailloux had an unbelievable year last year.
Right. Exactly.
And they were able to trade him. So that's the kind of stuff they've been trying to do. I have so much respect for player development in Montreal, for the scouting staff from Marty Lapointe and Nikki Bobroff and just what Kent and Jeff have been able to do. They've really come up with it's fun to watch. It really is. As somebody that really cares about team building, it's fun to watch. It really is.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Ethan Russell. It seems like there's so much talk in Boston about Blumo, at least on social media. What are your thoughts on him playing the NHL? Seems like he'll have the chance at some point this year. Yeah, he's going to get as much chance as he can.
He's a good offensive player. That's his thing. He's a good offensive player. No, he's going to have a very good chance to play Boston. Yep, I agree.
All right,
totally agree. Yep.
Vincent Noyel, I know you loved Logan Mailloux. How do you feel about the trade for Bolduc?
Good. I like it.
I love it.
It's good for Jimmy Montgomery's really happy to have Logan, and it's not that he wanted Bolduc gone, but they probably have some redundancy. You know, I just finished watching St. Louis's prospects play, and they've got some good, and they played 5 first-round picks. They did. They played 5 first-round picks in their games against Chicago and Minnesota. So they're good. They got good players, and it's not a knock on Bolduc. They just felt that they had guys internally. They needed depth on defense. Think about what they've lost on defense. You know, Alex Pietrangelo. This is from 2019. Bouwmeester. Start going over all the guys they've lost. Scandella. Like all the players.
Corey Krug.
Go look at all the D that St. Louis has lost since 2019. And we'll start there. So 6 years ago.
It's a lot.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
They need D. They need D.
That was a great
and they don't have Letty back. Letty's gone.
Yep.
So you start looking at their team on defense. Like they needed D, and that's why they did the deal.
It's going to turn out to be a great hockey trade, I think. All right. Next question. We got 2 more. Juice _031-017. Pierre, what U.S. state has grown the most when it comes to hockey over the last 30 years? Great question. There's a lot.
California, here I come.
I like
California's.
Yeah.
California's.
What about Florida?
Good. It's good because a lot of those guys stayed. The Russian guys are in Miami. Ole Jokinen and his group are around the Tampa area. Like they had a lot of guys stay, and they're good. Yeah. California, though, like look at the guys. Getzlaff is in California. Murray's in California. Niedermeyer was in California. Yep. This guy Gretzky was in California. Robbie Blake, Nelson Emerson. Like, and I'm not even talking about the guys up in Northern California, you know, near San Jose. Like hey, Dustin Wolf's from California, just so everybody knows. Like, you know, you start looking at the California guys, they got hockey there. And not just men. They got good women's hockey too. The California's good. Really good.
All right. I think we got one more question. Tim G. Hugo came in and changed the training staff, and it seems to have worked so far. Is it a coincidence?
No, they changed players too, though, Tim, and that's not to knock the previous training staff because I knew them really well, and it's not about personalities. They were really competent people, very professional. It's just, and I know Jimmy Ramsey. Jimmy Ramsey's a guy that they brought in from New York. He's outstanding. He's got a plethora of experience, unbelievable experience. I just think it's one of those where their team wasn't very big and a lot of their small guys were getting hurt.
Yep.
You know, injuries happen, but they were happening more in Montreal because they didn't have a very big team.
Yeah.
They're starting to get bigger now, and so we're not seeing as many guys.
For sure. Well, Pierre, before we close out too, I actually, as we were sitting here, I got a nice little email from our good friend Doug Christensen, head of the ECAC. And we found out some great news yesterday about their tournaments, Pierre.
Yeah, the women's tournament is going to Lake Placid, just like the men. So Jimmy and I will be residents of Lake Placid, New York for probably
Like 3 weeks.
5 days for the women and 10 days, Jimmy. Next year, you'll be living in Lake Placid, New York. And I know you like it because you like to go out and corral at the restaurants.
I do. I had a good time at the Lake
I
Placid.
have a short leash on Jimmy whenever we go to these places.
And of course, Pierre, some of the players in that ECAC tournament on the men's side could be eligible for the Hobie Baker Award. And I want to congratulate my teammate right here, who was just named to the Hobie Baker Award Committee, and will be able to vote on who gets that prestigious award. Pierre, congratulations.
You're very nice, Jimmy. I was a pleasant surprise today. I was kind of shocked when I got it. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm grateful to John Doerr, who called me, who's the head of the selection committee in Minnesota. And we were going over a bunch of stuff today. It was kind of cool. I said, I coached a player that won 2 Hobie Bakers, Tommy Sasso. He goes, yeah, I thought you did. And I said, it was an amazing thing to be at the Hobie Baker dinner at the Decathlon Club back in the day in Bloomington, Minnesota. I was there back-to-back years, and it was an amazing thing to be part of it. And, meet Lou Nanny and meet the late Dan Kelly and talk the late Murray Williamson, all these great iconic people from college hockey. So I'm really grateful beyond that. And I talked to him. I said, listen, the best honor I ever got is when Lanny McDonald called me and said, Pierre, we'd like you to be on the Hockey Hall of Fame selection committee. And I tell you the truth, I started crying in my bedroom. I was like, really? I couldn't believe it. And I told John Doerr, I said, when he called me and he said, we'd like you to be on this committee, I'm like, really? I said, I almost started crying again. Like, it's an amazing thing because I care so much about the game,
You do. I know.
Care a lot about it.
Congratulations to you, Pierre.
Thank you.
That will be great. And we will be watching the list of candidates build up pretty soon as the college.
We'll have an inside tip.
Yeah, maybe. I don't press you for that, but
no, but I give you insight.
And I will tell you that great story about the Calder Cup off the air, and maybe we'll tell it tomorrow.
Is that from your buddy's bar in West?
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
You told me that once. Yeah. You forgot because it was a little late in Ireland when you told me that story, but I remember. You're not telling that story on television.
Okay, see, there you go. That's why I didn't say it. All right. Great time. Thanks, everyone, for their questions. Thanks to Jerry. Oh, there's one. Vincent, BT, love all the shows Sick Media has to offer, all of them. Yeah, they're great.
So can I just say one thing? Vincent, if I'm wrong, please text us right away. You've been one of our most loyal followers right from the start. We're 3 years into this. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. We appreciate all you out there. And thanks to Jerry Buckley for joining us. Thanks to our crew working the boards back in Montreal. Excited for them. They're going to be in a new studio soon. And we will talk to you here on the Eye Test tomorrow on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.